to start at the very top with what is happening on the border at the moment, the Indo-Pak border. Close to 40 Indian posts along the international border have come under attack from Pakistani forces and rangers today. Just a few minutes ago, the Pakistan Rangers have also opened fire in the Arnia sector. Heavy shelling and in posts in Samba, Hiranagar and Kathua in Jammu. The BSF has retaliated using similar caliber weapons. 4 soldiers have been killed in the firing so far. BSF Jawan Devinder Singh becoming the latest casualty in Hiranagar. More than 3,000 villagers have now been evacuated, and it is clear at the moment that Pakistan appears to be provoking the violence.
Close to 40 Indian posts under fire from Pakistani rangers. Heavy shelling in Samba, Harinagar and Kathua. Pakistan continued to provoke along the international border, targeting posts in Manyari, Pansar, Bobia, Karol Kathirian, Karol Krishena, Londi, Benglad and Chelyari. A BSF Jawan was reported dead in Pakistan firing. Devinder Singh was killed in Hiranagar. The current round of firing has been on since 31st December and has only escalated since. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Sources have told Headlines today that ISI and Lashkar are planning an Arnia-style attack ahead of US President Barack Obama's Republic Day visit. BSF has specific intelligence inputs on Pakistan Rangers in Sialkot, giving them cover fire to assist infiltration. Close to 60 to 70 suicide attackers are said to be camping in Sialkot in 6 to 7 launch pads opposite Paharpur, Kathua, Hiranagar and Samba.
उनको एक जगह जो पेन हो गया पेशावर में, which was a bad incident. They are trying to sort of divert attention, in which India is also a part of that.
The report of fresh terror plot comes just after crucial intelligence input about Hafiz Saeed being spotted along the border. The 2611 mastermind has been spotted near the Samba sector on the Pakistani side in an area called Shakargarh. Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Now it's clear at the border that the temperature is rising, both the BSF and the Pakistan Rangers in an eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation. But that's not all. The story of the Pakistani boat is getting mysterious by the hour. Was it a terror mission, or was it, as some have suggested, a group of smugglers, not a 2611 style operation? Even as various theories abound, Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar now has gone on record pronouncing that smugglers wouldn't have set the vessel ablaze, and they were highly likely to have been on a terror mission.
Five days after the fiery sinking of a Pakistani boat off the Gujarat coast, the government has made its clearest pronouncement on the incident.
The most important factor, if you ask me why I will classify them under suspected or probable terrorist, is because they committed suicide.
The events of New Year's night, when a Coast Guard vessel engaged with a suspicious Pakistani boat 365 kilometers off the coast of Porbandar, ending in a blazing fire and sinking, have churned up a major controversy over what happened. What the Defence Minister has done is dismiss swirling suggestions that the vessel was on a smuggling operation and not involved in a 2611 style mission. While the Pakistan government maintains an unusual silence, in India, the meeting took place in Delhi today, where video footage of the incident was reviewed by intelligence agencies. India's external intelligence agency, RAW, is now leading the probe into who was on that boat and what their intentions really were. With Jugal Purohit in Porbandar, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
So Porbandar and Samba are the two flashpoints at the moment, and we're going to go to both live reports. Shujaul Haq joining me from Samba on the border, and Jugal Purohit is in Porbandar. Jugal, I want to come to you first because we've just heard the defense minister of the country say that the boat was in touch with the Pakistan army. Now, this is coming 5 days after the incident that the defense minister is claiming that the boat was in touch with the Pakistan army. What are your sources in the Coast Guard saying? What evidence do we have to give to the Pakistanis beyond the conversation between the NTRO and the Coast Guards? Do we have enough evidence now to nail Pakistan on the reports that are coming out that this was indeed a boat which could have been involved in a terror operation?
Well, Rajiv, the simple answer to your question is no, at least for now. Let's just look at the sequence of events. This particular ship, this particular fishing boat, in fact, was, it set itself ablaze, if one is to believe the Defence Ministry, on the night of 31st. The Coast Guard ship Raj Ratn, which was actually trailing the ship, this fishing boat, actually made its way to the harbour more than 48 hours after this incident. It had all that time to try and collect debris, to try and spot dead bodies, to try and recover anything which could be then subjected to forensic evaluation, and something serious and significant like what we saw happen during the 26/11, when the GPS sets and their weapons and ID cards could all be in that sense examined. That angle is completely out of the story because the Coast Guard ship has returned with zilch evidence value. There's no debris, there's no bodies, there's nothing whatsoever. So what do you convey to the other country as evidence is the big question. And Rajiv, Defence Minister's stand today is actually, may have surprised a lot many people, but it's actually a continuation of what he had said even on the day when the Defence Ministry announced this story to the public. Right. He had then separately congratulated the Coast Guard, and today also he's gone on further on that very track. But the key questions remain. It's not so much about the intelligence available on the boat and its behavior. It's about just what happened on that night, because top sources revealed to us on that day itself that the men had actually jumped from on board, and now the Defence Minister says the only reason to actually probe this boat is because they committed suicide. So there are a lot of questions about just what took place on that boat that night. Right. They remain unanswered, and as I said, there's no debris, there's no evidence. So what do you do from here on? That's right. That's the big question that has to be asked. Where is the evidence? I know that these are questions which are troubling at the moment to those who are saying we are effectively thereby giving Pakistan a clean chit, but it's not that. Pakistan has much to answer for, but India will also have to provide greater evidence on the boat tragedy than we have at the moment on the boat incident before we can call it a terror operation. Shujaul Haq, your hold up at the moment in Samba, you're there with the, in a sense, right at the border. Is there firing still going on, as we are hearing that the Pakistan Rangers are once again attempting firing? Is that, and is India responding to that firing at the moment?
Well, Rajdeep, absolutely. The fire is still going on. In fact, just minutes back, we were outside and the firing started once again, and we were advised to get into these bunkers. These are forward line bunkers which are used as shelters as well. And we, as you can see in this shelter, we are right now from the ground zero, giving you the idea of what is happening on the ground. Right. I can tell you that what I have learned from past few hours of being here, that it is absolutely terrifying. There are sounds of mortar shells coming around from almost all across. I am in one of the parts of Samba sector, and we are getting continuous reports that other areas like Arnia and Hiranagar are also witnessing similar mortar shelling, and it is being responded in equal caliber from the Indian side as well, and that is also creating a lot of problem for the people who are living along these areas. I was just with one of the parties which were going out for evacuation. I can tell you there are villages which look like ghost towns now. Nobody in these villages is ready to stay back. They've all moved out, left everything behind, and are just running for their lives. That is the situation right now on the ground, and firing still being reported from various sectors of Samba.
Okay, Shujaul Haq, stay safe there. You're there in a bunker on the border. Shujaul Haq reporting from there, and Jugal Purohit reporting from Porbandar. Our focus on News Today at 9 is not on those who can simply sit in the studio, but reporters who are out in the field. That's what we want to bring back on primetime television. That's what we want to bring back here on the news today at 9. Reporters reporting from the ground. Now, our next big story today is coming from Bengal, where politics has taken a new low after the slapping of Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's nephew and Trinamool Congress MP Abhishek Banerjee. Police have now arrested Debashish, filed a murder charge against him. This even as he is battling for his life in a hospital after being beaten up by Trinamool supporters. Take a look at what is another dark day in the culture of violence in Bengal.
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee slapped in full public view. The assault on the TMC MP at a public meeting of the Trinamool Congress Students' Wing at Chandipur in East Midnapur district. Enraged TMC party workers quick to react in pinning down the assailant, lynching him, beating him to a pulp. Abhishek Banerjee too broke his silence a day after being attacked. Enraged TMC workers meanwhile took to the streets in Bengal protesting against the incident, even as the police registered a case against the assailant and the mob that beat him up.
Being interrogated on the basis of having established links with the RSS. This angle is expected to escalate the war between Trinamool Congress and BJP in West Bengal, especially at a time when this is an attack that has been taken at a personal level by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. With camera person Chitrabhanu Pathak and Tapas Ghosh, this is Manogya Loiwal in East Midnapur for Headlines Today.
Now that's what's happening in Bengal, but it's not just Bengal. The culture of violence has spread to the national capital. Is the culture of violence on the rise at the moment? Is there this culture of violence that is rising from Bengal to Delhi? That's my debate and that's my talking point at the moment. Let's go straight across to our panel and our guests who are joining us at the moment. I'm joined by Sudhanshu Mittal of the BJP, Prashant Bhushan of the Aam Aadmi Party, Mahua Moitro is the General Secretary and spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress, Sanjay Jha of the Congress and Fauda Halim, leader of the CPM. So all bases are covered today. But Mahua Mitra, I want to come to you first because I've just heard that you have now, your party has filed or asked the West Bengal police to file murder charges against Debashish, who attacked your MP. He slapped your MP and you filed murder charges even as Debashish has been beaten up and is still in a critical condition in a hospital. Why has the West Bengal police filed murder charges against someone who slapped your leader?
Number one, Rajdeep, I don't think the government has asked the police to file murder charges. I saw a video clipping of the incident. You've all seen it on national television. The person acted as though he was a member of the press corps, went up on the stage, went physically very close to him and started with a slap. Because Abhishek ducked and because people came on, the situation didn't get further out of control.
But it's
we
not
have
murder.
no idea what
it's
he
not
wanted
murder.
to do.
It's not murder, ma'am, and you resorted to mob lynching. The mob then attacks him. I want to play those pictures.
Hear me out.
How can you file murder charges?
Hear me out. Rajdeep, hear me out. The police has filed attempt to murder and murder charges. If the judge does not see fit, he will throw them out. Otherwise, what do we file a charge on? Attempt to slap? Is there a charge under the IPC which says attempt to slap political leader? There isn't. When you're attempting to cause grievous bodily harm, there are only 2 or 3 sections of the IPC that apply. Which is what we filed it under. If it doesn't stand, then the judge will throw it out. Similarly, the police have also filed charges against the mob which have hit him. It is not something that the Chief Minister has asked the police to do. The law has taken its own course. In matters like this, there is murder.
Are you telling me the West Bengal police acts independently? Are you telling me the West Bengal police acts independently, or is this a prestige issue because the Chief Minister's nephew has been slapped?
I'm not going to sit here, Rajdeep, surely you do not expect me to sit here as a spokesman of the Trinamool Congress and agree that the West Bengal government is giving orders on each and every case as to what the police should do. So yes, of course, I do believe the police is acting independently on the basis of the evidence which is available for everyone to see. What are we supposed to put the charge of? Slapping somebody? There's a section exists in the IPC of slapping somebody. It can only be
This man is at the moment
it can only
battling.
be attempt to murder. It can only be murder.
I hope you will though apologize for the
man
fact
is
that
battling
your
for
mob.
the-
Look at the manner in which the mob then
man
chose
is
to attack
battling
him.
for-
Do you condemn
Yes, the
that?
mob-
Do you
that
condemn
is
the mob like
fury.
lynching?
Of course we condemn. Of course we condemn that. Of course we do. That is mob fury in India. When a car runs over a child, when a child comes in front of a car in a highway in India, I have seen people step out and beat the driver to pulp when it is not the driver's fault. That is mob fury in India, Rajdeep. Can you control it? Can I control it?
Okay.
Of course we condemn it.
Well,
if we didn't condemn it, then the police would not have filed charges against the mob as well.
Let me bring in Fawd Halim
Of course we believe that the rule of law.
Let me bring in for a moment Fawd Halim, the leader of the CPIM, because many will say, Mr. Halim, that it is the CPIM which started this culture of violence in Bengal, and this culture is now spreading. I'm going to come to Delhi and the national picture, but I want to focus for a moment on Bengal because that was my immediate news peg. Mr. Halim, do you concede that the CPIM started this entire issue of politics of violence, and today those same CPM cadres, many of them have joined the Trinamool?
No, it's very interesting that everybody would like to drag the debate in that direction. But I would like to focus on the incident that occurred yesterday. And Devashish Acharya slapping Abhishek Banerjee is only Act 1, Scene 1. There are other parts of the play that one has to understand. The other parts of the play include that the SDPO has been injured by the Trinamool vertical party workers. The circle inspector of Chandipur has been injured. The OC of Chandipur Thana has been injured. The Chandipur Thana has been totally ransacked by the Trinamool workers over there. You have 6 people who are injured, other than Devashish Acharya, who have been hospitalized. One gentleman, one reporter from the media corps is battling for his life in the hospital over there. Now,
I take that point. I take your point. I take your point, and the action is condemnable. But would you concede that the left would resort to similar politics when you are in power? The Trinamool is doing what exactly you were doing. So this culture of violence is growing in Bengal, and you started it.
No, absolutely. You know, that's the lame duck argument being given by the Trinamool Congress, who wanted Parivartan 3.5 years down the line. Unfortunately, they cannot allude to the similar incidents that took place in the 34 years of the left regime. You do not have a single vertical incident where on stage such degree of violence has taken place. But considering the word that I use, stage, one has to understand that it was this stage from which Mamata Banerjee had proclaimed that she controls gundas. It is from this very stage, the Trinamool stage, that Anubrato Mandal from Birbhum had said, please bomb the police stations. It is from this very stage that Madan Mitra had said that the police officers should be boxed behind their ears. So one has to understand that when policies diverse themselves from politics, then the only thing that remains is actually what you call occupy the area.
Mahua Mitra, you want to respond to that? Mahua Mitra, you want to respond to that quickly before I spread this? Because the fact is, the kind of language which the Trinamool Congress leaders have been using, it suggests to me that they are virtually endorsing this culture of violence. Fawd Halim is giving strong examples which suggest that the leadership is allowing these mobs to get away in the belief that they want to extract revenge against their political opponents.
Rajdeep,
yes.
Rajdeep, it makes me want to laugh. It is nothing short of amusing. It is nothing short of amusing that someone from a party such as the CPM, which has ruined the state for the past 34 years and has given birth to this culture of violence where 13 people have been killed and shot in cold blood on the streets of Calcutta on the 24th or 21st of July, and we still don't know who did it, number one. We have something like Nandigram where the chief minister comes out and says it's a choto ghotona. You have stuff like that has happened, and today you're talking about, obviously this is a culture in which all political workers have been born and raised. Is it possible for the Trinamool to come in and inherit the mantle and change everything in 3.5 years' time?
The CPM may have started that culture and you seem
No, we're not taking it a step forward. We're trying to control it.
What else is this?
We are trying to control it.
And in fact, a viewer has said that you could have filed charges of assault and battery. You're filing murder charges against this individual. You're lynching him. You're virtually justifying the mob lynching.
Because it is very clear, Rajdeep, assault and battery are not premeditated, right? This is something where a person has put on something with a press card, has come in. If you think of the Rajiv Gandhi...
The police in East Midnapur district have filed a case against the people who assaulted Devashish, and they have filed the case against unidentified persons. Were the people on stage who actually were part of the mob, were they unidentified to the police? Is it not a comment on the state administrations, what you call the way they are functioning?
Can I for a moment?
They do not know who was there on stage.
Hold on for a moment. This issue of unidentified political workers is raised, and it's been raised in the national capital as well, because in the case where AAP workers have clashed with the BJP, Sudhanshu Mittal, the BJP, is saying that these were unidentified people, they had nothing to do with it. Now AAP has released a video where they have very specifically given and shown pictures, which we will again play out, which show that many of these workers are allegedly linked to your MP from the area, Mr. Biduri. So it is not unidentified political workers, whether it's in Bengal or whether it's in Delhi. Now there is a face to them in this age of television. Sudhanshu Mittal, would you agree that your workers were also out of line in targeting the AAP?
No, it is not targeting the AAP. The attack started from AAP, and there was a retaliation to that attack. Not that we endorse any kind of violence in politics. I mean, it's most unfortunate, and certainly
you have burnt a car, you have beaten up AAP workers. Surely that is not the culture of a party which is in power.
Rajdeep,
yes.
Rajdeep, in the last 1.5, 2 years of the existence of AAP,
yes,
you've had AAP workers beating up the leaders of AAP on stage or elsewhere.
Yes,
and then BJP being accused of having engineered that. You saw what happened to Mr. Kejriwal when his face was blackened by the AAP workers. You see, there is the unfortunate part is there is a cult of violence which has been perpetrated in AAP because of the frustration and the disappointment which has emitted out of the feeling of being cheated by the leadership of AAP, and similarly it is in Trinamool Congress case.
Can I take
where
that?
the
Can I
people
take that
who
to
had
Prashant
worked for the
Bhushan?
party with such expectations.
Can I take that to Prashant Bhushan? Your workers are, Sudhanshu Mittal is saying the frustration of parties like AAP, and he's even bringing the Trinamool Congress. Parties which are getting frustrated are the ones which resort to violence and then blame the rival party. How do you respond to it that AAP is being accused today of creating such situations of confrontation?
Well, it's a bit rich and ironical for Mr. Sudhanshu Mittal to accuse AAP of encouraging or generating political violence for a gentleman who comes from a party which has these large number of affiliated senas like the Hindu Rashtra Sena, but the Bajrang Dal and various other such affiliated organizations, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, etc., which are going around beating up people, going around breaking cinema halls on PK, etc., and who have been caught on video. We have released the evidence of all that. This Mr. Biduri is a known person who has hired goons in the past also.
But it's clear that there were clashes between both sides.
Who indulges in political violence.
But there were clashes between both sides in a way, Mr. Prashant Bhushan.
But you should see who